Hi, Kitty Pies. This is Lanickia, and I am coming to you with another episode of The Bold and the Beautiful. This episode was actually on a scale to one to 10. I would have to give this. It was actually really good to me, so I'm gonna give it like a 7.58. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. But I'm really like, I don't know why yesterday just felt a little off to me, but this episode I enjoyed it, especially like I guess because of the different characters and the story is moving along. So we see Brooke goes down to see Liam, and she's just talking to him about how she's doing, and he says she says she just gave she doesn't understand why she just gave Ridge away on a silver platter to Taylor. She was like, wait, I love him and I should have fought for him, and I made a mistake. And he's like, yeah, I don't know why you just gave up either. So she is now, after speaking to Liam, she's like, you know what? I am going to fight for my marriage. Like, I'm not just going to give Ridge up this easily and everything. So now while she's doing that, Hope is still over there in Ridge's office, and Stephanie is going in on Hope, and Hope is not really saying anything back. I'm like, okay. And then Ridge is sitting there standing stuck. But so Steffi is just like, we can't help it that your mom drank, because at the end of the day, she made the choice to drink, and she was like, she's an alcoholic. She was like, but how many times are we gonna make this excuse? And Hope really couldn't say anything except to try to talk to Ridge and tell him, my mother loves you. And then Thomas comes in, and Thomas doesn't say anything. But Ridge is just like, Steffi, Hope is just wanting, she wants what you want. They want their parents to be happy. But Steffi's like, her mother has done you wrong, and my dad is exactly where he needs to be, which is at home. And I'm like, Ridge, say something. These children are in your office just fussing and fighting over you. My mommy's, I want him for my mommy, and I want him for my mommy. I'm like, oh my gosh. But it was good. So then we see, so while this is going on, Lord, so, okay, so this is going on, right? So then Hope leaves. She finally leaves, and she goes to Liam, and she just tells him, I've had a bad day. I had a run in with Steffi. And he was like, oh. And she was like, yeah. And she said, my mom is just handing Ridge over to Taylor, and I just can't believe it. Like, she's not even trying to fight. And he was like, I spoke to Brooke, and, yes, she was like that, but he thinks there might be a turnaround or whatever, because, Brooke said she was going to try to fight for her marriage. And so he said, so we'll see. And she was like, I really do hope so, because they know at the end of the day that no matter what, Ridge is in love with Brooke. He loves Taylor, but he's in love with Brooke. And she told Steffi that too, but Steffi not trying to hear it. So then we see Steffi and Thomas and Ridge, and because Hope has left again. So we see them talking, and Steffi is still just going on about, Dad, you're where you're supposed to be, with Mom, with us, with people who love you and who won't betray you and won't hurt you and everything. And I'm like, girl, I don't know. Like, I like the storyline, I'm not gonna lie. But it's just something about these kids fussing over their, like, Ridge. Like, that's your dad. Like, you acting like you don't want him to be. Like, that's your dad. It's like, and you're not 12. But anyways, it's still good. So she was just kept saying that, and he says, listen, I know you want me to be with your mom. That's understandable. But he also says there's a part of him that will always love Brooke. And so Thomas is just taking this all in. And then Steffi gets mad at him because he defends Brooke, and he says she was drinking. She still loves Dad and all that. And I'm sympathetic to her. And she was like, oh my gosh, you're getting on my nerves always saying that. But, they just told her, like, that love doesn't go away overnight, Steffi. And, yes, where he's at that place where he's with y'all in the house and everything, but like, he loves Brooke. Like, you can't, Brooke is not just gonna be thrown aside and he's not gonna love her anymore. Like, it's just not gonna work that way. So then we see Lord Sheila. So Sheila is with Thomas, because Thomas, well, Sheila was talking to Deacon or whatever. Let me see, how did this go? Oh, no, no, no. First, Thomas calls Sheila and he tells her that he's not sure about doing this or whatever. And she's like, "What do you mean? You just keep your mouth shut." Like she keeps telling him, "You just be quiet and everything will fall into place." Because your dad, he's not all the way there with, because he's like, they're not, like, he's in the guest house. And she said, "See, there's hope for Brooke, so you need to keep your mouth shut so him and Taylor can go ahead and get together." So then they hang up, right? But Deacon heard her and he was like, "Scheming much?" And I was like, "Oh, did he hear?" Deacon didn't hear. He didn't hear anything. He knows she's scheming, but he doesn't know exactly what it is. Now she all in his ear telling him, this could be the chance. Go ahead and go after Brooke. She put Ridge to the side. Here's your chance, but you can't give him too long because Brooke and Ridge do have that love, and he's not all the way there with Taylor. She said, "So you would be the person to put that into, like, to push Ridge towards all the way towards Taylor, because if he sees that you and Brooke are hanging out, getting together, or going somewhere, he's gonna be so upset about that it's gonna force him to go towards Taylor." And I'm like, Deacon, don't listen to Sheila. Don't listen to Sheila. But there we turn. Brooke came back to her house, and she's like, "I'm gonna fight for my marriage," and she going, I guess, to get ready to get dressed, but she's going, trying to go upstairs, and she gets a doorbell. The doorbell rings, and it's Deacon. Here he comes. I said, "Deacon, what are you doing?" Here he comes, bringing her presents, talking about, "I remember." And she stopped him cold, like, "Listen, we're not going down memory lane. I love Ridge, and I don't even understand why I just felt like he should just go to Taylor." So Sheila's having all kind of second thoughts on this now. She was like, "I don't know why I even just was like, go ahead and go to Taylor. Why was I trying to be the doormat and just letting him go?" And so Deacon said, "So what I'm hearing is you're going to fight for your marriage." She said, "Yes, I'm going to fight for my marriage." Deacon, like, "Listen, don't be that guy." It's over. So then we see, so all of that's happened, right? So then we see Thomas, because Ridge has left Steffi's office alone, and he calls Sheila, and she's like, "What you doing calling me?" And she's like, "I'm calling you because I don't feel right about this. I don't like it." And she says, "Look, you keep your mouth shut. Keep it shut and just do what you have to do, what was supposed to be done, so that your parents can get together." Because she said they are not there yet. He's leaning towards Taylor, but he's still in love with Brooke. And until we can get him 100% towards Taylor, keep your mouth shut. And he's like, "Man, listen, when my dad finds out what happened to Brooke and who knew about it and all, what we've been saying, like, Thomas, you got to tell, because this is going to put a rift between you and your dad if you do not tell this." And he's starting to be like, "Man, if I don't tell this is going to be bad." But Sheila's like, "You can't tell. Keep your mouth quiet. Be quiet. Don't you say a word, because this will work out for all of us." And she talks about Finn and Hayes, how she wants to be back in their lives and everything, and how Taylor is a good person and she makes Ridge happy, but she don't have, like, she needs help go ahead and win him over. And the best way for them to do this is to go ahead and keep this secret about how Sheila made Brooke drunk. Gave her that she thought she was drinking non-alcoholic champagne and gave her actually alcoholic champagne. And so she's like, "Do you understand me? Keep quiet." And he's like, "Fine." And then he gets off the phone with her, and we see from the doorway that Steffi has actually listened in. And I feel like if Steffi heard enough, then she will know that something is going down with him, Sheila, and Brooke. And that's why she'll put the pieces together. Now, will she say something? I don't know, because they want their dad with Taylor so much that I don't know if she'll say anything. But maybe this is her way. This will be a way that we finally get the storyline moved to where they figure out how Brooke got drunk. But I don't know. But that was a Bold and a Beautiful today, guys. I would have to give it a 7.58 because it was really good. It was a good episode to me today. I will see you tomorrow for the next episode.